Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Sector 1 Sim Racing. It has been a hot minute for us, but Category 1 has returned to the tracks here in Season 10. My name is Carbon Boy, and we are back here tonight at the Nurburgring GP circuit for Category 1A's crack at our 2-hour Enduro. And joining me tonight in the comms box for the first time is our newest race director, Grovel. Grovel, mate, how you doing?
Yeah, really good. Yourself?
I am doing fantastically, actually. It's been a bit of a rough weekend, but I am excited for the racing here tonight.
I'm not sure if your weekend's going to be as bad as Div 1, because it looks like there's a bit of rain out there, so could be a little bit sketchy here and there by the look of it.
Look, I did want to keep that as a little bit of a surprise, but that's all good. It's all good. In the 3 rounds that we have seen here at the Nurburgring so far, the weather has been dry for all 3 races, but it seems that the weather gods have decided to turn it on for us tonight and have decided to throw in a bit of moisture into the mix. So that might render one of the slideshows I'm going to show you very quickly sort of a bit null and void. But just going to have a quick look at the track map just to refresh ourselves, because it has been a short while since we were here for the Category 1B race. On that note, I do hope that everyone had a safe and enjoyable Easter weekend, as well as the Anzac Day service that has just passed us by on the Friday. But Nurburgring GP track, it is a little bit over 5 kilometers long. We've got 15 turns. We've got 2 choices of tyre, being the racing softs and the racing mediums, although that may expand to to 4 choices of tyre, which includes the intermediates and the full racing wets tonight, should the weather go a little bit south over its current slightly damp, I would call it. So I guess the strategy has been rendered a little bit obsolete. We did see I don't know if I'd call it the alt strategy anymore, but we did see that from your teammate last week in Captain Muffin, pulling the 4-stopper in all the racing softs.
He did a bit of the if in doubt, go flat out, and to be able to do 4 stops and just go flat out for a few hours.
Do it. I mean, 2 hours worth of qualifying laps. I would most likely put it into the wall at some given point.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I'd go doing that. I was a bit bugging myself just doing 3 stops and sort of doing a bit of fuel, bit of tyre save, to be honest. So going flat out for 2 hours, yeah, not really my cup of tea. I don't think I would have been able to pull that off.
Definitely not mine either. But you've got, I guess, your 3 main strategies. You've got your all soft tyres, you've got your all medium tyres, or you've got the little hybrid using both the mediums and the softs. I guess what order you want to run them in is completely up to you. May also depend on your qualifying position, etc, etc. But the weather's probably gone and thrown a complete and utter spanner in those works tonight, because, well, yeah. Well, anyway, that's just stating the obvious. Also, we're not going to have a look at the points tonight, because the live points that I have at the moment are a bit of a mess, having been updated from the Category 1B race last week. So there's 14 drivers that have an extra round of points over the other 14, so it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So what do you say, Grovel? What do you say we just jump straight into qualifying and get things underway there?
That actually sounds like a master plan. I might just give them a quick heads up, if you don't mind. If you can just dribble for
what? You actually want to warn the drivers that we're going to start? Aren't you just the gentleman?
So I know what it's like, and we do have a couple of guys that just come into the lobby in the last couple of minutes. So yes, I'll just give them a quick heads up.
It is nice to see that they finally made it in.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting too to see how this track goes, because currently at the moment, like you said, I sort of let the cat out of the bag a bit by telling everyone it's wet. But there's a definite really good dry line, and I did see a few guys out on track on the softs, so it'll be interesting to see how we go. But if you're
just like
ready,
to say hello to everyone in the YouTube chat. We've got Revs, we've got Debrev, Mr. Bumcrack. We've also got Gur. We've got the Good Doc. How you doing, mate? We've got some guy Grovel in the YouTube chat as well.
Yeah, don't know who that idiot is, but
yeah, some weirdo.
Yeah.
But I am ready when you are.
Alrighty, let's get this thing underway. Good luck, everybody.
Alright, guys in the YouTube chat, who do you think's getting pole? Drop your thoughts into the YouTube chat. It may not be as clear cut as you might think. I mean, I guess Jeeesh, your teammate, he's obviously the hot favourite. But I have seen some cracking up times from up and down the Cat 1 field all weekend, so I've seen a few guys setting some hot times.
Yeah, and it's currently got rain on the track. It is only over the first bar, so I wouldn't be surprised if quite a few come out on the softs and hope that it actually clears up, because we do have a full 14 grid. Oh, Tomo's out there going sideways.
So first cab out on the ranks tonight, out in that wet weather. It is very, very wet. That is very, very wet for Blacklight Motorsport. That is Tombo. All right, it's going to take a little bit for the timing boards to sort themselves out. All right, so it's giving me MountainGoat as the first cab out of the ranks for BSR, followed by Dale Teeks from Craicn Esports. That lovely Big Rocks Brewery blue livery with a little, well, actually no, Komatsu. Got to give the correct sponsor a bit of a plug. All right, and that whole running order has just been completely cooked. Thank you, GB7. So first cab out of the ranks for Doghouse Motorsport is Evil Evo with the very distinctive green highlights on the car. Little disappointed the wheels aren't green, but that's all right. I'll give his TO a bit of a pass on that one. Speaking of TOs, we've got the Dadson Racing team owner himself, Dadson, with his special Anzac Day livery. You will notice on the bonnet there is a bright red poppy, and on the rear quarters as well, commemorating the Anzac soldiers. And you've got Foss for BSR in the brilliantly blue and pink BSR livery. Next up for giving us his best Tokyo Drift impersonation into the sand is Nif for CP Motorsports. Picking back up to Tombo for Blacklight. My boy Ricky Bobby, Mr. Shake and Bake himself. Not overly confident in himself in the practice sessions. Seems to be a fan of the soft tyres, wasn't much of a fan of the medium tyres, but I'm not sure if they're going to be using them all that much tonight. And we've got the other Craicn Esports driver, young Wackie, who's currently sitting third in the driver's points. He's only, I think he's 5 points adrift of Goaty and Jeeesh, as he has a lovely spin on the final Coca-Cola turn there. As GTR comes into the pits, I think he wants to get rid of those racing soft tyres. I think he has... someone else is having a bit of a moment in the background. Look, it's a bit messy. I think the weather tonight has well and truly thrown a spanner in the works for everybody in regards to strategy. What do you think about that?
I didn't want to say anything before while you're calling it out, but I did see 3 cars have a bit of an incident down the back at one stage. I think maybe one person spun and a couple others had nowhere to go, so it's a little bit of a disaster out on track at the moment. There's quite a few on the racing softs, but there is a bit of a line developing, and that water is getting down to just about the first bar. So I'm thinking the racing softs will probably come into their own. I know for the race yourself and I was in, I jumped into the pits to go out, and I had softs on, and I seen that there was water on my window, so I put inters on. Big mistake. I went out, and yeah, I was like 4 seconds off 13th place or something, I think. So I had to go back into the pits and put a set of softs on, and I had one lap to actually put a time in. So,
well, to be fair, your clutch lap was quite impressive. So
yeah, I don't know where that came from. Desperation, I think.
That's all you need to do. So we've got Evil Evo, who's currently, well, he's the first one to set a qualifying lap time. Who's being quickly knocked off again by Dadson, who's been knocked off again by Foss. Just knocked off. I should probably pick a different phrase. That doesn't sound as good as what I would hope for. Foss currently sitting on pole with a 2:08.71. Oh, that's an 8. I'm just going to go with 6. I need glasses. I can't tell if that's a 6 or an 8. I should have gone to Specsavers. That's what I should have done. There you go,
so the top 4 drivers in those times as well are on inters, and then we're dropping down into the guys that got the racing softs. But they've got a few laps left, so I wouldn't be surprised as this track dries out, the guys that are on soft will probably be in an advantage.
So the top 4 at the moment are currently running inters, so they would have either started on the inters or pitted.
Yeah.
Very early on. But how's the track moisture level looking? Because looking out the window here, the wipers on the cars have stopped, so it does seem to be drying that little bit.
It's down just on or just under the first bar, so as most would probably know, you're still pretty good to run on a soft once it's down there. As long as you're not riding the curves too much, you're generally pretty good. So I'm expecting these times on the softs to start outdoing the inters very shortly.
Just be riding on board with Foss, who's currently top of the leaderboards and going purple again.
Yeah, as this track dries out, those inters will really start to struggle. Like, it's not like they've got 20 or 30 laps that they can do anyway, but yeah, they're still going to struggle. And speaking of, Boss and Datsun are both coming in the pits, so I reckon they're coming in for a tyre change.
Okay, I've just seen Evil Evo nip into the pits as well. A few people in the chat. We've got Debrev saying GTR for pole. We've got Gur saying Goaty for pole.
Goaty has just gone purple as well, and he's on the softs, obviously.
Ooh, he's doing well on a slightly damp track on the moist tyre.
Yep.
Artsy's in the chat as well, saying Morgan Davies is a bit of a dark horse. That he is. He's currently sitting P3.
Don't know what's going on with Goaty. He was up, and now he's just stopping.
A little bit of support also for Morgans from his team owner, Karen, in the chat. How you doing, Karen? Good to see you, mate.
Okay, I think a few guys are setting themselves up for a couple of decent laps by the look of it. Well, Distinct Jeeesh has just gone to the top according to my records.
Oh, bang, there we are. 2:05.431. Knocks Niff off pole position. And a quiet shout out also to Tombo, who's just very quietly slotted himself into P3. Very, very sideways there into the Mercedes arena. And just a mere 300ths in front of my boy Ricky Bobby in P4.
Yeah, it's still quite wet on those corners out there. You can see them as they tend to run over that white line or the curve a little bit too much. It's still quite wet.
GDR slots himself into P2.
Yep. I reckon these last couple of laps, everything's going to get switched up.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be making any predictions for the first few rows on the grid at the moment because with the way the track's drying out and how everyone is finding pace, I think it's anyone's fastest lap at the moment.
Yeah, and then you've only got to like touch a little bit of one of those wet spots or something, and you can lose a few tenths quite quickly, if not go off track. So, but we are talking the Div 1 guys, and they can pull some pretty amazing things out of their hat, I shall say, because it's before 9 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll go with hat. Hat is the same.
Yeah.
Helmet.
Out of their helmets, that's right, or out of the glove box. I just noticed Ricky Bobby absolutely launching it off that last set of chicanes. That's pretty ballsy with the amount of water that's still on those corners. Although the track's showing that there's water, but
he might be taking the Jeeesh line through that NGK chicane. I've seen your boy being very aggressive with that last chicane. So much so he really binned it on that last lap. He's just had to back off and reset for Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I did find that last chicane. You can actually, it's takes a bit to get a bit of a penalty through that. You can abuse it pretty hard. You just got to have the car sitting pretty stable. Ricky Bobby's purple.
Tombo's P2. Lenosis P3.
Nice.
Oh, hello.
Oh, he's only.
Tombo's right in Lenosis's slipstream as well, and they are
GDR.
on the final lap.
GDR takes it.
GDR goes bang. 2:04.515.
Oh, by nearly a whole second.
Oh, this is
John 27 into third.
I think that's his final lap. I think he's run and done. Yep, he is run and done. So he's knocked Tombo off.
Jeeesh is still on his final lap. I think GTR's done. Is John done? I think so.
Yep, GDR is run and done. Jeeesh is on his final lap.
Tomo's on a final.
Comes through the Michelin curve into Warsteiner.
Oh, he's up half a second nearly. Whew.
I find it really hard to not say that corner with a very heavy German accent.
Yeah, you're not going to hear me saying too much of these names, I don't think. I'm sure I'll probably get a penalty or something, some sort of ban for the Sector 1 YouTube channel.
To be fair, there's only two German names. All the rest are very English sponsors. And Jeeesh is coming to the line. Drops a 2:03.675
in front of Wackie.
Young Wackie into P2 by 4 tenths. Goaty into P3. Ricky Bobby P4. Just pips out his teammate Lenosis in P4. Hang on. Niff slips it in for a P3, and that's
everybody.
That is a qualifying run and done. All right, so I'm going to need to take a breath there as we will take a quick look over the qualifying results because I'm going to need to play catch up on exactly what happened there because there was that much going on in the last 30 seconds. I could not keep up.
No, that was quite a finish. That was actually like I'm personally not a real fan of the rain, but that made things quite exciting, especially when you got another 2 hours ahead.
I am also not a fan of the rain at all. So, all right. So, taking out pole position, your boy from Ironheart Simsports, Jeeesh, with a 2:03.675. And just a quarter of a second behind him from Craicn Esports is young Wackie. And from CP Motorsports is Niff. It's very dangerous saying that because from CP Motorsports is BSR Niff. I'm going to leave that alone. Joining him on the second row of the grid from BSR is a young Mountain Goat. On the third row of the grid, locking it out completely for APR Motorsport, is Ricky Bobby and Lenosis. The fourth row of the grid is the other BSR guy, Foss. The other BSR guy. Sorry, that sounded worse than I intended. My bad. And we've also got the blacklight driver of GTR. And I have completely messed that up. There we go. Who just pips out Morgan Davies from Switchblade and Dadson in P9 and P10 respectively. John, not really a fan of the wet weather by the looks of it, only managing to get in on P11, but he will be happy that he's managed to beat Tombo from Blacklight. He'll be very happy he's managed to do that at the very least. P13 is Evil Evo, and rounding out our grid tonight is Dale Teeks. So that is our grid tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
That's I'm just trying to think of what Group B did in the Cat 1, what their times were for quali, because they had an actual dry race. So I'm pretty sure their times were a bit quicker. I know for ours, I think we were just trying to think whether we got 204 or 205s. I cannot think for the life of me what our times were. So I expect these guys to be a good, second, maybe 2 seconds a lap quicker on their fastest
I'd be
time.
expecting them to be at least about 1.5 seconds faster than us.
Yeah,
if they're not, I'm disappointed in them.
Yeah, if this track dries out and later through the race, which I suspect it will, looking at that quali, it's going to be interesting if anyone's on softs and pushing it, whether we see a 202, because I don't think we were that far away in the Group B. I think someone pulled a 203.2 or something, I believe. So not that far away from that 202.
We will see a high 202 race lap.
Yeah,
I don't think we will see it until after the hour mark.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I think it was either Thunder Heathy or Thunder Artsy that maybe pulled that time. It's pretty damn quick, though, especially in race pace.
It was one of the Thunder guys. They were slipstreaming off each other, but that's still a stupidly quick lap. And I reckon, did you hear any feedback from your teammate Muffin? In was he not particularly unhappy that he got robbed of the fastest lap?
Look, I think he might have mentioned it, but it was I think it was sort of known that they might have gotten a bit of a slipstream, so not much you can do about that. And I mean, the fact that Muffin, like I say, did those stints just at full on quali pace, 2 hours, hats off to him. Really, it is.
I wonder if any of the guys tonight will be thinking that, or whether they're going to be a little more conservative. Guys in the chat, I'd like you to throw in your podium predictions, please. No particular order, just top 3. Who do you think's going to get there?
I'd like to throw in...
Oh, yeah?
Sorry. I'd just like to throw in that it's because no one else can actually see probably what's being put up by the guys on the chat, but they're asking if John 27 has got some wet weather tyres.
I would genuinely like to think he's learned from the Season 9 Le Mans race.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to let that go too soon.
Oh, no, we're never going to let that go. That may be, well, no, it won't be his legacy, but it'll be close to it.
Yeah,
it's all right, John. Right. We love you. All right. What do you say we get this race underway?
I think that is a good idea. I'm just telling them all good luck. I didn't want to put in there, especially Jeeesh, but, But anyway, we'll see how we go. All right, everyone, here we go. 2 hours of Enduro.
I am excited. Woody in the chat. Yes, he does have wet tyres, but they're bald wet tyres. They're still wet tyres.
They're still wet tyres.
He
Some
had
people
them to
would
begin
call them-
with.
Some people would call them slicks, but you know, who are we to judge?
Alright,
Okay.
so we've got 14 drivers on the grid.
This first corner could be very interesting with this wet weather.
How is the track moisture? 3 lights,
Just
sorry,
over
4 lights, 5 lights. And we are racing here at the Nurburgring GP. It has been a long time, but these guys are keen to get straight back into it. There's a lot of spray coming up off the track. That would make negotiating this braking zone very interesting. It's all looking very well behaved so far.
That's how you do it, guys. That's how you do it.
That is why these guys are the cream of the crop in S1. No first corner shenanigans here, even with the wet weather.
No, that's some very impressive, clean driving.
Love to see it. They've all sort of settled into a single file. Jeeesh has held his P1 position. Young MountainGoat seems to have made a move up into P2.
This whole weather just really throws a spanner. If anyone had any sort of idea or plan on what they were going to do tyre-wise and pit-wise, this really throws it in, because depending on how long this stays wet, it depends how long their tyres last, and obviously they're not going as quick, so their fuel's going to last longer. They're going to have to do a bit of thinking on the fly.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right there. Any plan they had has just been thrown out the window, and you're just making it up and flying by the seat of your pants at this point. Like your
unfortunately,
fuel numbers mean nothing.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a pit crew that sits there and tells us what the weather's doing and tells us when to come in and put some fresh tyres on or get some more fuel. So it's all up to us, and their guys are going to be flicking between the weather map and probably their fuel map as well.
These guys are already getting a bit lively with each other. The two blacklight cars are all over the back of Morgan Davey. GTR and Tombo are both giving him a very strong hurry up. GTR's down the inside of Coca-Cola. Oh, a little bit of a twitch under power there. Tombo is right behind GTR. He wants in on this action. Down the main straight, Morgan's just got the nose in front. We're only on lap 2.
Yeah.
GTR's hard under brakes. Tombo's
Tomo in down the inside. Oh, nice move, Tomo. That's brave going down the inside there in these conditions.
He had to do it though. He had to follow his teammate through. Whether or not he can hold it, because he does. We all know how good of a driver Morgan can be in low grip scenarios, and this track right now definitely looks like a low grip scenario.
Just having a look down the back. Oh, John 27. He's on racing. Oh, I'm not gonna. Do I put that out there this early? Oh, I'm just gonna say, without putting the cat out too much, not everyone is on a wet weather tyre.
All right, we'll go with that. We'll go with that for now before we go into a full fuel and tyre update in another couple of laps.
Yeah, it's a bit early for it, but I was just checking down the back of the grid, and yeah, there's a few people having a bit of a struggle, I would say.
So out in front at the moment, your boy Jeeesh. He's got 7/10 back to MountainGoat, P2. He's got less than a second as well, back to Foss. He's got Niff right on his rear bumper. Oh, it's a little bit of a... Oh, hang on, something's gone here. I think GDR's had a little bit of a moment. He's dropped back to 7th, back behind Morgan Davies. He's right back on the back of Morgan, so we're going to see another overtake move as they come into the NGK chicane. I've been told off for calling it the Heartbreaker, that I shouldn't be renaming real-life corners. As much as I want to argue that point, it's like, oh, hello, GDR has pulled into the pits. Now, both NIF and GDR pulled into the pits. They were on the inters. So that's giving us a bit of a clue as to what's going on with the track conditions. I would say that it's drying up a little bit.
That's what I was going to say too, just because there might be a few cars that aren't on the wets at the moment and aren't doing so well, it could come back to them later in the race. It very well could, because they're probably not going to have to pit. Well, they won't have to pit anywhere near as soon as these guys if the track dries out.
So P6 at the moment, Dale Teagues currently leading significant margin over his teammate in young Wackie. Just wondering if there's been a pit stop by some of these guys further down the grid. So young Wackie's got my boy Lenosis right on the rear bumper. Then there is a little bit more. There's a couple of seconds back to Ricky Bobby, who's got NIF for company. NIF would have just pitted. I dare say he's come out on. Well, he will have. I'm going to guess racing softs, but that is just a guess.
Yeah, I was just looking at Dale Teagues as well. He's about 12 seconds behind Jeeesh. But some of these guys are still probably going to have a bit of a play with their fuel, is my guess. Like, they might not come out, even if they're on a tyre now that's working in the wet, they might just take this fuel advantage as well. So a lot of this is going to play out probably in the last 20 minutes, I would say, of this race.
So it's going to be a slow burn, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm probably stating the obvious, and everyone probably realises that, but, you know, oh, gee, she's in MountainGoat, Foss, Morgan.
Alright, so the top 5 have decided to pull the trigger as well. So we've got Dale Teagues currently crossing the finish line and inherits the lead of the race. So I guess without giving too much away, what kind of tyres is Dale Teagues on?
He is on inters. There's still plenty of water out there in spots, but there's obviously a dry line. When you see the likes of the top 5 guys all pull into the pits to get softs, you know, I'd sort of suggest that something's up.
Yep, that's it's definitely a strong cue to perhaps think about the strategy you're running yourself. But
yeah.
Now Dale doesn't really look like he's water chasing at the moment either. So
No.
I would dare say he's probably going to be in for a tyre change of his own in the next lap or two.
Yeah, he's not being hard on the car either, so even though it has that wet at the start, I reckon he might have still a bit of a plan, and his probably plan might be to save that little bit of fuel, run a few more laps and then fill up. So these guys aren't Div 1 for nothing.
That is true. Far be it from me to second guess their strategy.
So now, what I didn't want to let the cat out of the bag before with the fuel and tyre, some of these guys that you're now seeing in, I don't know about Wackie, but I'm pretty sure maybe he was, but Lenosis, MountainGoat and stuff, these guys were already on racing softs. Yep, definitely Wackie because of his fuel.
So currently P2, well, he will inherit the race lead right now as his teammate Dale Teagues has pitted to get rid of those inters.
Yeah. Yeah, so a few of these guys, like I said, that were at the back of the field, that were running a different tyre compound,
so
they haven't had to pit.
They chose to start on the softs and suffer that
Yep.
first lap and a half on a wet track with the racing softs.
Yeah.
To avoid having to having to take a pit stop. Now that's a pretty bold gamble, because if the rain keeps up for an extra lap or 3, it's going to put them at a very serious disadvantage.
Yeah, sorry. I was just going to say that I did see, I don't want to put anyone under the bus, but I did see one of the guys actually go off track. So that sort of probably hasn't worked out so well. But still, you know, if he's got a bit of a plan, then maybe it's going to work.
So MountainGoat has resumed his position in P3. The noticeable absent from the timing sheet right now is Jeeesh. What's going on there?
He's back in 9th.
What has gone on there? I mean, he's currently purple.
Yeah, I think a few people may have not put fuel in.
So he... do you think has he put fuel in the tank in that pit stop?
Yes, he has.
Ah, okay. Because my other thought was perhaps a spin on the pit exit, because that can be a thing when you pit for racing tyres. That pit lane is still wet, as he's going side by side with Evil Evo into NGK. And he's got GTR throwing it down the inside of Evil Evo into Coca-Cola. So we've got GTR right in Jeeesh's slipstream.
I was going to say BSR Foss had the fastest lap, but it was quickly overtaken by Primer GTR. And we're going to see these times.
GTR down the inside of Jeeesh into turn 1 under brakes. Gets it done. Can he hold it through Mercedes Arena? Does indeed. You're probably not going to like me too much, but I would like to see that on a replay. And I would also like to see if I can actually make the replay work. So, thanks to JSM Accounting, we don't quite get it, but that's all right. At least I know how to make it. That's step one.
Could I spoil it even further by saying that maybe there's a little bit of a tyre differential between the two guys as well?
Oh, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do an APR tyre and fuel update right now. Let's just get that over with, so we can, well, maybe not so much worry about the fuel situation, but let's get the tyres for the viewers at home. Let's tell them what's going on.
Okay, so we'll quickly just run through it. So young Wackie racing softs, Linosis racing softs, MountainGoat racing softs, BSR Foss racing softs, BSR Nif also softs, Tomo softs, Ricky Bobby soft, Primer GTR soft, and then Distinct Jeeesh is on a medium. We have John on a racing soft, Evil Evo is on a medium.
Okay.
Morgan Davies racing soft, Dale Teeks is on a racing soft, and Datsun. So just two guys on the medium.
So just Jeeesh and Evil Evo on the mediums.
Yeah.
Right. So there might be a little bit of a fuel saving going on from those two as well, just to help them get the most amount of laps out of the car and out of the tyres.
Yeah, well, I'd sort of suggest if you're going to go the medium, you're going to want a full tank of fuel. You're going to want to make the most out of those tyres.
Sorry, I just realised my microphone was somewhat broken, so thanks to APR Automotive for that tyre and fuel update. Now that would explain the drop down the order a bit for Jeeesh. He would have wanted to put enough fuel into the tank to make sure he can have the maximum amount of time to take advantage of those mediums.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said before, I stated the obvious, but you know, it's going to be the last probably 20 minutes or so that's going to really see this race out. So Foss,
lovely battle going on here in P2, 3 and 4. Got my boy Ricky Bobby, my boy Lenosis with the bright pink wheels in a pink and blue BSR sandwich with MountainGoat just in front and Foss just behind. So there's a whole lot of pink going on here.
Yeah, I'm just having a bit of a look too that John's all over the back of Jeeesh, but boys might have just got past. John is on that soft tyre, but he was still struggling to get past. It just sort of shows how close these cars are, to be honest.
I wonder how much of a fight Jeeesh would have put up there, or whether he was just content to just sit in John's slipstream for now, maybe save a little bit more fuel, maybe extend his run on those medium tyres. Because the sun has come out here at Nurburgring, and that will help the track dry out completely.
Yeah, I don't know. After sort of seeing what Muffin did a couple of weeks ago, looking at the whole saving fuel, saving tyres type of deal, I don't know, sometimes I'm sort of looking at that and I'm thinking, maybe you don't have to if you got the skill enough to pump that car around as quick as what he did.
I've tried saving fuel in this car, like getting an extra 3 or 4 laps out of the car. I just lose way too much time doing it in the process. So I've just accepted that, rightio, this is a number of laps I can get out of the car doing this pace, and I just go.
Yeah, it's sort of like that bit of a triangle thing, you know, for what is it? Cheap, good, fast sort of thing, you know, like pick 2.
Yep.
Yeah, pick any 2. That's I find that's a little bit like that Homo with a 0.5 penalty. Yeah, I find that's a little bit like it with this car. Same thing. Initially for this race, was looking at the 2-stop and could sort of get reasonable times out of it, but yeah, not always, depending on the wind, etc. like that, could throw a spanner in the works. So yeah.
So young Wackie's having a good time up front at the moment. He's got 3/10 back to MountainGoat. Foss has just made his way past Lenosis at turn 1. Let's see if I can get that on our JSM live action replay.
Ooh.
Here we go, down the main straight. Got Foss right in the slipstream of Lenosis, pulls to the inside, hard under brakes. I don't think Lenosis fought that particularly hard. Had a look at the switchback, but Foss just had too good of a drive coming out of turn 1.
I'm not seeing any water up on the track except for when any of the guys sort of go up right off onto the curbs quite a fair bit, and then you see a slight percentage pop up. So pretty much we've got a really dry track at the moment.
So Foss has pretty much cleared out from Lenosis, and he's setting off in pursuit of his teammate. So both the BSR guys can go hunt down young Wackie, as I think MountainGoat has just made his way past Wackie. I'm not sure if there's been a moment there or not, but let's see if we can catch that on our action replay. Having to do all of the work tonight. Here we go. I think young Wackie just ran a little bit wide at the Michelin curve and then into Warsteiner. Young Goaty just had the overspeed on him and was able to chuck it down the inside, and thank you very much, I'll have that, he says. So he picks up the race lead.
Did these guys not get the memo that it's a 2-hour race, or?
Clearly not. Clearly not. Young Goaty currently has the fastest lap with a 2:03.777. And I don't think young Wackie wants to let it go. He wants to definitely have a conversation about that that lead position. He's going to want to be careful about that though, because all this battling with him and between Wackie and Goaty, all that's going to do is bring Goaty's teammate Voss and my boy Lenosis back into it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's only half a second between those two, and they're only 7/10 behind the top two.
It's interesting too. Oh, sorry.
Sorry?
Oh, he's dropped off a little bit. I was going to say Evil Evo and Distinct Jeeesh, the two guys that are on the mediums, were actually running only 2 seconds apart. Morgan Davies has now jumped in between the two of them, and it's sort of dropped Evil Evo back a little bit. But it's sort of interesting that the two guys that are on mediums were running very close together. So, yeah, that strategy is obviously putting them in a completely different spot. But Jeeesh, considering he took all that fuel and he's on a set of mediums, and we're 10 laps in, he's only 16 seconds behind. And I'm not sure how much time he actually lost in the pits.
I'm trying to get my head around what Jeeesh might have in mind at this point. I mean, with that start of the inters just burning up a few laps, do you think he's potentially trying to go to the hour mark on this stint?
I don't know, but he just pulled two 2:04s in a row, and now he's done a 2:03.945, and he's on mediums.
I'm sorry, he's doing a 2:03 on mediums.
Yeah, so he's 2/10 off the fastest lap, and he's on mediums. Now, to give the guys that are on the softs a little bit of a break over that, they come out when it was wet, so the best of their tyre was definitely done by the time the track dried out and they could actually get on it a bit. But the fact that he's doing 2:03s, that I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if anyone in Div 3 or Cat 2A even got a 2:03 the whole race. Yeah, and he's on mediums doing that time.
Yeah, look, that's disgusting.
He's holding that 16 seconds, so he has got, let's have a quick look. Yeah, so he's got a bit more. MountainGoat's actually not too bad on fuel. But Jeeesh has definitely got like quite a bit of a fuel advantage. He's 16 seconds behind, and he's pulling 2:04s and a 2:03. So I don't know. I'm not putting money on anything other than Jeeesh at the moment, I don't think. Plus, he's my teammate, so.
Hashtag no bias.
No bias at all.
Well, he's running similar lap times to John, who's just under right on a second in front of him.
Yeah, see, most of these guys that are on the softs now, though, their tyres have run their best, and some of them are actually looking not far away from a pit stop.
As you say that, John's pulled into the pits.
Yep.
He's in. With 23% fuel left in the tank. So he would have been one of the guys who started on the soft tyres, I believe.
He was, yeah, definitely he was. And he was the guy that I didn't want to throw under the bus, but I will now, that actually had a bit of a spin. So the fact that he pulled himself from last spot and moved himself up a bit, and now is pitting, he's doing all right, I think.
So I've just jumped into the 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, and bit of a party bus, bit of a party train going on here. We've got the two blacklight guys in the form of GDR and Tombo, right on the back of Ricky Bobby and Nif.
Yeah. Well, Gnosis is sort of in no man's land. He's actually got a good gap over Nif. He's got a 7-second gap, but he's a bit over 2.5 seconds behind Foss. So yeah, there's definitely that bit of a Nif, Ricky Bobby, Tomo. And Tomo's having a good look at Ricky Bobby too, by the look of it.
He's all over that definitely wants to get.
Oh yeah, yeah, he wants to go for it.
Now they come through. Where are we? We're on track. We're on the coming through the Michelin Arena. Or
I
Mercedes
suspect
Arena.
Nif has to pit this lap for sure.
As Tombo sends it round the outside into NGK. That's bold.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a little bit of. Oh, that's a 2-for-1 deal for the blacklight boys there. And
Is
I
Nif
think-
going around again?
I think there's a pit stop in there somewhere. No, I appear to be seeing things.
I cannot believe Nif's going around again. This guy's got like about 3% tyre on the front left.
Just checking back in the front. Goaty has managed to break away from young Wackie to the tune of 1.5 seconds.
Top three are all looking. There's a little bit of difference between tyre and fuel, but not much. Might be a few litres when they hit those pits, but not a lot. See Datsun out the back as well, quietly doing his own thing, running his own race, putting down some consistent times. You can't count any of these guys out.
It's definitely a bit early for me to be throwing out any predictions. Foss is just keeping in touch, not quite literally, but he's within 3/4 of a second of the back of young Wackie.
Yeah, Tomo is either going to clean up Nif shortly, or I think Nif is definitely going to have to pit this race. This lap, I should say.
He's got his hands full at the moment with Ricky Bobby, who's in the black light sandwich, as Goaty, Wackie and Foss into the pits. We'll see if anyone behind them wants to follow suit. Yep, the two black light boys and Ricky Bobby are in as well. Nif's in the pits as well.
And Jeeesh.
And Jeeesh, okay. Oh, interesting. Morgan Davies also in. Evil Evo, he's still on his medium tyres. He's sticking to his strategy. He's going around again.
And he takes the lead of the race.
Inherits the race lead, so we'll give him a little bit of TV time while he's in #1 position.
Gotta say, it's a great looking livery as well. The longer you look at it, the more detail you see.
I am a fan of the radiator in the front grille. That's all I'll say for any eagle-eyed viewers who want to do the old pause and zoom on the front grille of the doghouse cars. There is a magnificent PWR radiator in there. That's all I will say.
Yeah.
And the rumours of the hidden NOS tank in the back are totally unfounded. Totally 100% unfounded.
The
Hello,
beer
hang on.
cans.
Is that
beer
raining?
cans on the floor?
Is that raining?
It is too.
Oh,
And it is coming down.
Oh, an Evil Evo!
Oh, no.
Into the sand trap at Dunlop. Oh no!
Oh,
This-
Goaty's gone wets. Oh, that's why all these guys pitted. We cannot see their weather map.
Oh wow, there's I just heard some noise. Just heard a little bit of noise on the windows here of the comms box, and oh wow, this is definitely a massive spanner in the works for these guys.
Yeah, see, Datson's lucked out a bit there too, because he was at the back, so he's come in for wets. Wow, this is really gonna...
Now, who's got? Have they all gone inters, or have they gone full wets? Because that is absolutely bucketing down out there.
Would you like me to just do a quick rundown of who's on what at the moment?
Yes, please.
So Evil is on mediums. MountainGoat is wets. Wackie has gone wets. Boss is wets. Niffy's wets. I think Jeeesh is still on intermediates. He's been stuck out there. Lenosis has gone wets, but he's got a 3-second penalty, unfortunately. Homo is on wets. Morgan Davies is on inters. Ricky Bobby is on wets. John 27 is on racing softs. Dale Teeks is on wets.
Sorry.
Well, we won't go there. Datsun is on inters. Is GTR stuck in the... Oh, he might be just taking that time to fuel. What's happening with GTR? Is he stuck?
I'm not sure. I did see Evil Evo go into the pits, and he had about 10% fuel left in the tank, so that
GTR... Sorry, but GTR seems to be stuck. That's not good.
Oh dear, is there a problem with the black light car?
I unfortunately think so. He's been in there for 2 minutes 45 seconds and nothing's happening. No tyres, no fuel.
Oh dear,
Might have an issue.
There's some problems in the blacklight garage, I would say. So mechanical melodies, problems.
Yeah. So pretty much everyone now is on a... Oh, except for John.
Oh,
John's...
I'm just getting some feedback from the Blacklight TO, the good doctor. Apparently GTR has had a transmission failure. The car does not want to upshift.
That's a shame, because he was doing well as well.
That is a very big bugger.
And John, the ever persistent, is still out on racing softs.
I'm not sure whether he's masochistic, determined, or whether he's just living the meme of not having wet weather tyres.
Yeah.
Or it's a combination of all three.
I was going to say, just tick all three boxes, maybe. It's interesting too, because there's a mix of inters and wets, eh? So it's... I wonder what these guys seen coming in on the radar.
Well, how's the track moisture at this point? Like, is it in the middle third?
It's halfway. Pretty much dead on halfway. And that's with the guys running down the main straight in the middle of the track, where there's probably less water than what there is on the side, so
I've just seen Tombo coming down the main straight, water chasing, so I think he might be on the full wets.
Yes, he is.
And he's got Morgan Davies right behind him. Probably loving life at the moment, to be honest. He's putting a lot of pressure on coming through the Mercedes arena, right on the back of Tombo.
Yeah, because he's actually got a set of inters. And for those that don't know, when it's... The inters are quicker unless you've got a lot of rain.
And he gets the move done in through Valvoline and into the Ford curve and says, thank you very much, I will take that P6. He's only 2.5 seconds back from Jeeesh and Nif, who are also right on the back of Foss. So this could get very entertaining, this battle here for P3, 4 and 5.
How the heck? How the heck did Jeeesh get back to 5th place? He's gained places, and he was running on the medium. Oh, he actually might have came in that backpack and put on wet weather tyres.
This pack is very, very feisty indeed.
So now Jeeesh is only 5 seconds off the lead, whereas before the pits he was 16 seconds. This race is just gonna switch and change the whole time.
He's now up into P3 as he's managed to make his way through that little pack of Foss and Nif. And now he's going to be setting off in hot pursuit of young Wackie.
Yeah, just to let everyone really know that so Goaty and Wackie are both on the wets. Jeeesh is on the inters. So those inters are, the water's starting to come down on the front straight there. We're down to about the 1/3 mark. So you could probably nearly start to run a soft, although other parts are decidedly wetter. Nif is on wets, Foss is on wets, and then Morgan Davies is on inters. So those inters are really going to come into their own these next few laps.
So Morgan Davies is also having a very strong run here. He's managed to very briefly put himself into P5, but Foss has taken that position back. So he might just jump on board the Switchblade car, I think. Riding on board with Morgan Davies behind Foss. Oh, he's looking very racy here at Dunlop. Gets onto the power nicely. Coming up towards the Schumacher S's. Got to be very careful here in the wet because those curves, as Foss has gone a little wide, has just had to get off the power because, like I was about to say, if you get on those curbs when they're wet, they will kill you.
Yeah.
There's no if, buts or maybes. They will straight kill you. And he's done a great job here to get on the back of, a little bit into the back of Nif there.
The last 2 laps, both laps, there's been a 2-second difference between Goaty and Jeeesh, with Goaty on the wets and Jeeesh on the inters. So he's catching quite rapidly. MountainGoat's in.
Yep. And Jeeesh managed to get himself past young Wackie as well.
Yep. Gonna go around. He's going around again.
Morgan's
does have that
well.
tyre advantage, so.
Nif and Foss also in, so's Tombo. So the next driver,
busy down in those pits.
Those pit crews are earning their money tonight.
Yeah.
Now Dale Teeks is in P8 at the moment. He's water chasing along with Evil Evo. So I'm not sure if they're looking to go around another lap or whether they're going to come in for this lap.
Yeah, just following Jeeesh
Dale
around.
Teeks has called it. He's in.
He's coming.
Yep.
Just watching Jeeesh going around, and there's definitely a dry line through the middle. It's just under that first bar, but any more than say a car and a half with either side, you're still running in the wet.
All right, Evil Evo's managed to make his way up into P4 as Morgan Davies comes out of the pit just in front of Foss. Oh, Morgan Davies binned it at turn 1. Oh, that's not gone well. He's managed to keep, he was only facing 45 degrees off, but so not a complete catastrophe.
Yeah, there's a lot of water still on that turn 1 for sure.
And it has let Lenosis go on through, and Foss, who he did manage to jump into the pits. little bit unfortunate, but not quite the end of the world just yet.
We're coming up close to 40 minutes.
Has it really been that much already?
Yep.
It feels like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's probably because we've had quite a fair bit of action for a 2-hour race.
Oh, hello. What did I just see
Morgan.
there? Did I just
Morgan
see Morgan
Davey.
have a massive lose? See if I can catch that on our JSM accounting action replay.
I'm not sure if he got helped. I sort of only caught the last end of it.
I have slightly caught that. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
He is on racing soft, so like I say, you've only got to get to that slight edge.
Jeeesh is in the pits.
Yeah, and you're gone.
Yeah, he's putting fuel in the tank. MountainGoat's coming around Coca-Cola onto the main straight now. Jeeesh is still filling the tank. Still filling. We are still filling. And he's brimmed it. And he is out of the pits now on the racing soft tyre. So young Wackie's just gone past the pit exit and around turn 1. Jeeesh successfully navigates turn 1. There's still a little bit of water on the track. Lenosis and Foss are having a good ring-a-ding battle. Oh, Foss gets very sideways through turn 2 there. There's a lot of tyre squeal going on. Let's just give Lenosis a little bit of breathing space. Oh, as I just saw in the background there, Ricky Bobby has done a perfect 360.
And Tomo.
That has not gone well for Ricky Bobby. I am going to have to see if I can get that on the JSM action replay. Let's see if I can see what went wrong as he's coming through the Mercedes. Oh, he's on the grass. Oh, just on the AstroTurf coming through the Mercedes arena when it's still wet. Yep, there's not a lot of grip there. Just saw that in the background of where I was focused on.
Thought I'd seen Tomo have a spin as well, but doesn't look like he's lost any. It's sort of that patch of rain has seemed to spread quite a few of the cars out now.
Oh, you nearly put the Mozza on Tombo there. I've just had the camera on him. He's very sideways through the Michelin corner. And then again also through Warsteiner, but manages to hold onto it.
Doing good. He's 7 in 7. Love those blue wheels.
I'm hearing a lot of tyre squealing. What's going on? Ricky Bobby having a bit of a bad time by the sound of things. He's got Niff for company. The sun's back out here at Nurburg. Although, as we saw earlier, that doesn't mean anything. It could be a little bit like Melbourne. Don't like the weather. Wait 5 minutes. Sun's out, and then 5 minutes later it's pouring with rain. So anything can happen here.
So John, who I think stayed out on the softs, is running currently in 10th.
Is he still on his same set of softs as he was on?
I'm pretty sure he is, because he's only got about a third of a tank of fuel.
So he's sticking to his guns.
And just out of interest, Ricky Bobby and Niff are both running mediums. Where everyone above them is on a soft.
He will Evos. It's P11. He seems to be sticking to his strategy for the most part. What that strategy was, I actually can't tell you, but it seems like he's got a plan and he's just dealt with the rain as he's needed to, and then sort of picked up where he left off.
Yeah, see, the top few guys, you could pretty much sort of throw a blanket over most of them as far as tyre and fuel. Oh, Wackie coming up the front straight gets a bit wriggly.
So 5.5 seconds behind MountainGoat at the moment. He's only 1.5 seconds in front of Jeeesh, so say another lap and a half, maybe 2 laps. If he's lucky, he's gonna have some company.
Yeah.
Speaking of company, I just saw a quick changeover in the running order there with Foss and Lenosis. I think Foss has managed to put a move on Lenosis going into turn 1, so we'll have a look at the JSM.
Lenosis is... Sorry. I was just going to say, Lenosis is sticking on his back bumper though, so Lenosis might be going, okay, I'll let you through, then I'll sit on your bumper and I'll save myself some fuel. And it does look like he's given it a bit of a short, like he's not fully revving it, so...
That could be the case. He could be on a bit of a save stint. Also, he could be very aware of Morgan Davies, who's coming in quite hot, to be honest. He's less than a second behind Lenosis at the moment, so I don't think Foss and Lenosis want to spend too much time battling, because Morgan will just sail past both of them, and well, we know how Morgan Davey is with fuel saving, and he just doesn't. Is how that works. It's burn all of the fuel and use all of the tyres, and worry about the rest when the time comes, as he is very sideways through NGK there.
Yeah, still quite wet on those curbs and everything.
It's I think the curbs are the absolute last part of the track to dry out.
Doesn't seem to be one of those tracks though that Lenosis going back down the inside, is he? Oh no. He's getting in that wet. He must have forgot it was wet.
He has had an absolute horror show of a braking zone into turn 1. And he's going to hate me, but I am going to pop that on our replay and let's have another look at that. It's a bit unfortunate that it's my teammates that are providing the highlights. Now, is he on the soft tyres?
Yeah, he is.
Why is he chasing water on soft tyres?
I don't know. He went right down the inside. That's the strange thing.
Yeah. Look, I'm his teammate and I can't explain this. It's just going to have to be something I'll have to have a chat with him about in the debrief. Like,
maybe he was Vortex in a cruiser. Who knows?
Possibly. Now the gap back from MountainGoat back to young Wackie has just eked out another half a second. It's just about 6.2 seconds right now.
Jeeesh is right on Wackie though. He's under 4 tenths, 3 tenths. He's chasing him down. Like I say, we've seen Jeeesh doing a 203 on mediums. So what's he got in the tank for softs?
Oh, the last couple of laps he's done 206s, but bear in mind that there is still a fair amount of moisture on the track, so not exactly optimal conditions to be doing purple laps.
No, Goaty's running the same. So is young Wackie. He's had a couple of 206 down to a 205. So how does that? Yeah, 205s. Top 3 now, all 205s. Boss is a 205. Morgan Davey is a flat 205. Yeah, so the guys are starting to bring those times down. MountainGoat though seems to be holding that 6 seconds pretty well. Actually might be pulling away a little bit as these two behind him battle.
It's gone up another 10th since I last saw, another 10th and a half.
Yeah.
But that could just be from Wackie driving a little more defensively than aggressively.
And if there's anyone that's watching that hasn't sort of driven these cars, they so evenly matched, especially with this Bob. To actually pass someone that's on the same tyre with similar sort of tyre wear, not the easiest thing to do.
Definitely not. You've almost got to pressure a mistake from the person in front of you and be ready to pounce if it happens.
Yeah, exactly. It's you can catch someone, you know, even if you might be running a half a second or so like quicker, maybe even a second quicker, and you'll catch up to them, but to actually get past the car, not an easy task.
Jeeesh is not looking particularly aggressive at this point. It's not. I think he might have where he wants to pass, and NGK Coca-Cola is probably not the point. He just wants to get the Coca-Cola turn done, get a really good run onto the main straight, and then use a slipstream to pass into the braking zone for turn 1.
Yeah, the problem too is anything sort of more than 2 car widths on the track.
Young
Here he goes.
Young Wackie put the indicator on there.
He's letting through.
Yeah, there was a left-hand indicator from young Wackie there.
He realised he was holding him up. That's good sportsmanship. Nice to see.
Are they both on the same compound of tyre?
They are, and the top 3, while I'd say Jeeesh has a bit of a fuel advantage, tyre-wise, he's probably a little bit better than the other 2 as well, but not a lot in it.
And he's now purple through the first sector by 1.5 tenths.
And look at this, Fossett, Morgan, and Lenosis, all of them are not a huge amount behind either. Depends on fuel.
Morgan's done a great job to put himself up into P5 at this point.
He has. He's done real well.
Lenosis again in a little bit of no man's land, but I can appreciate that. I like being in no man's land. It means you can just run your laps, do your own thing. You don't have to worry about, I don't know, somebody sitting on your rear bumper for 45 minutes and grovel.
Yeah, I was going to say, who was that?
That was some guy.
That was after the first pit stop. One of the guys that actually was Stranger. He actually got a massive jump in the pits on me. I think he might have short fueled a little bit as well, and he got a mass because he was, I think, 6-7 seconds behind. Come out of the pits in front of me, and I think you got a good go on the fuel as well because you came out quite close behind me. But then he had some sort of equipment failure, and which allowed you to get past for both of us.
That was I believe he had to do a wheel reset on the fly.
Yeah, which was unfortunate because he was actually looking strong for that race as well. It set him back a fair bit, unfortunately. But I just felt after that, it felt like the rest of the race I just spent trying to chase you down and get back in front. Which made it good, what I thought might have been a pretty uneventful sort of race. It actually made it.
I was hoping for uneventful, but unfortunately that was not to be.
No, it was good. It was probably one of the best races I've had, to be honest, though.
Good to hear. So we got Niff in P8. Ricky Bobby after his little shake and bake earlier. That spun things out for him a bit. He's down in P9.
Jeeesh has taken 2 seconds. 2 seconds out of MountainGoat. And he's dragging Wackie with him.
Yep, that gap is down to 4.3 seconds. Was around the 6 second mark. Young Wackie's happy to tack on the back here. He's less than a second behind Jeeesh, so he's not letting him go. I think he realised there that was the smart play. Let Jeeesh go, and I'm just going to tag on the back and get dragged along. Very smart, very smart.
Yeah, it can be a smart move if you got someone that's got a bit of pace on you, because he sort of caught up pretty quickly. Let him through and then tag on the back of him. If you can keep pace with him.
Foss and
55
Morgan.
minutes in.
Foss and Morgan is still nose to tail in P4 and P5. We are getting very, very close to the halfway mark of the race.
You could almost say Foss and Morgan is yourself and myself from our race. Because I think we were running that sort of similar spot. Oh, here we go.
Chucks it down the inside of turn 1. Says, I'll have that. P4, thank you very much.
That's a nice move.
Textbook manoeuvre right there. Is Foss going to argue the point coming through the Mercedes arena?
It's not going to let him get away, but he didn't do anything to sort of argue too much either. He gave him the room for it, so... And this is one of the things that sort of differentiates sometimes some of these faster guys is not only the speed that they have, but also the respect they have for one another. If they know someone's a bit quicker, they're not going to fight that position. They're going to let them through. And they're not going to take the chance of, both of them sort of making contact and losing out, which is really good to see.
Yeah, it's not looking like Foss is arguing the point too much here. It seems like he's just happy to hold station and tag on the back of Morgan for now. I mean, we're only at the not quite at the halfway mark, so there's still plenty of race ahead of us here. And they're not that far down the road from young Wackie and Jeeesh, so there's only a little bit under 7 seconds between Morgan and young Wackie, so that's not huge. And just quietly, Morgan Davies has currently got the fastest lap with a 2:03.684. So just throw that in there. Drop that on his previous lap. If this lap is any indication, no, he's not going to go quicker this lap.
No, I think their tyres, most of these front runners, their tyres are starting to get a bit worn. But they've still got life left in them, so...
Just going to check in on my boy Lenosis. He's in P6 at the moment, still out in no man's land. He's got 9 seconds to Foss in front of him. He's got 5.5 seconds to Tombo behind him. Even Tombo's got a pretty safe gap of 3.7 seconds to Niff. He's got quite a large gap back to Ricky Bobby and P9.
Just noticed too, as he was going over those curbs in the AstroTurf, would not see any sign of any water, so I'd say that the track now is completely dry.
It's good news for these guys here, I'm sure. It does get a bit gappy further down the field, like we're starting to see some other large gaps until we get back to there's only 2.7 between Dale Teagues and Dadson in P11 and 12. John's having a bit of a horror. He's down in P13 at the moment, although just does set a purple lap, so look at that. There we go. Right as I threw the camera on him, he does a 2:03.368, knocking Morgan off the fastest lap.
Wow.
wonder if he's thrown on a set of tyres specifically to do that.
He does have not a lot of wear on those tyres, and he's probably got about 3/4 of a tank of fuel.
Okay, so looking at his lap times, they're on lap 27 now. It looks like he would have jumped into the pits at the end of lap 23. Lap 24 would have been his out lap. So fresh tyres, probably a lower fuel load. A little bit of TV time for the Lightning Motorsport driver. Check back in up the front, and that gap between Goaty and Jeeesh is down to under 4 seconds. Not coming down as quick as Jeeesh might like, but I think the tyre wear might be a factor in that. How are the tyres looking between Goaty and Jeeesh?
The top three, they're like taking a looking at a picture of each other.
Right.
They look identical. The only thing that's different is Goaty has a little bit over 1/4 of a tank. Jeeesh has a good 1/3 of a tank, and Wackie's he's just barely over 1/4. So a little bit of fuel difference there.
So it's not like Jeeesh has completely cooked his tyres trying to catch back up.
No, and if anything, if they all three of them went to a full tank of fuel, which I'm not sure what they're going to do, obviously, but I'd sort of suggest that 3.8 seconds could disappear pretty quick.
I have the feeling that it will. It's a matter of when, because we've just ticked over the halfway point now. They're coming through NGK. I'm just wondering, is anyone going to duck into the pits, or whether they're going to go one more lap? No, Goaty's gone one more. Jeeesh is going another one, as is young Wackie. Morgan is into the pits. He's the first one to blink there. But it's the end of lap 28. It's a theoretical 56 lap race. We're just over 1 hour into the race, so halfway point.
Morgan had a bit less tyre and less fuel than the guys in front of him, so
I'm not at all surprised by that, to be perfectly honest. As Tombo's Lenosis and Tombo have gone around again, as does Foss. So
Morgan did make up some.
Sorry. No, go for it. Go for it.
I was just going to say, Morgan did make up some places and that, so you sort of expect those tyres and the fuel to sort of get burned a little bit more as well.
He was definitely using the car. 100% using the car. And theoretically, there's only, after this, for him, only one more stop. If he can get near on 30 minutes out of a set of softs, or whether he's going to do a soft or a medium. Actually, kind of curious, what tyres has Morgan come out on?
I'm just looking, he's about to leave. Yeah, he's come out on a set of softs again.
Okay.
He's got a full tank of fuel. But like you say, he could go, he's just over, we've got 57 minutes to run, so he could definitely just do one stop.
That gap up the front between Goat and Jeeesh, still about 3.5 second mark. Although, like you said, Jeeesh does have a bit of a fuel buffer in hand, so that could be a factor in the next couple of in the next pit stop.
I wonder if Jeeesh and young Wackie, they'll wait to see when MountainGoat blinks.
Well, the gap back to young Wackie's out to 2.7 seconds now. He has just dropped off the back a little bit.
Yeah. I'm just wondering though whether they'll wait. They'll wait to see what MountainGoat does. The moment MountainGoat goes to the pits, I wonder if Jeeesh and Wackie will both also hit the pits.
I I don't think they're going to want to wait too much longer. I mean, we're an hour and 4 minutes in.
Yeah, Goaty's tyre. Goaty's front tyres, his front left's the worst. And he's probably down to 15% maybe. His last lap was still at 2:05.
I mean, yeah, his laps have been looking really good. He's done 2:05.3, a 4.9, 4.9, 4.4, 4.1, 6.2. All right, ignore that one. He had a little bit of a moment there.
And you look at Jeeesh. Have a look at Jeesh's times.
Oh, do I? Oh, hang on. We've got some blue flags going on here. Evil Evo's got the blue flags out with MountainGoat coming up behind him. Just wondering if Evil Evo might be headed into the pits this lap. I mean, I do appreciate the blue flag system, but the GT7 system needs a bit of tweaking because it does throw the flags out stupidly early. Like, the faster driver coming up behind you can be nowhere near you, but you've still got these flags waving around and
yeah, been in the way.
Annoying the crap out of you, for lack of a better description. So they've all gone around again. So Goaty, Jeeesh, Wackie going around again, as does Foss. Lenosis
That's in the pits.
Goes past the pits entrance. Next in line is Nif. He's decided not to go as well, and he's got Tombo in hot pursuit. So Nif and Tombo, P6 and 7.
And Lenosis. Oh, I've just looked on him and he's go pretty wide, but that is a pretty sort of a line out there. I reckon Lenosis is probably struggling to keep himself awake at the moment, sort of sitting out there in no man's land.
Yeah, that, what has he got? 12 seconds to Foss in front. And that'd be the worst bit. I mean, you're always happy to have someone 6.5 seconds behind you.
Yeah, I tell you what though, he's not far from... His tyres are not looking great, and if he's on a set of mediums... So Nif, he needs fuel, but he's got a really good set of half-worn mediums compared to Lenosis, who needs fuel, and his tyres, how he's doing 206s on those tyres, no. Well, he's got like 5%.
I think Tombo's had a little bit of a scare somewhere. He was within a second of Nif. He's dropped back to 2.5.
Yeah.
How's Tombo's tyres looking?
Yeah, no, his fuel light's flashing, and his front left tyre has like maybe 3%.
There we go. Jeeesh has pulled the pin. Jeeesh has pulled the trigger.
Oh, wow.
He is in the pits.
Going to be interesting.
Goaty's going around again. Wackie's going around again. Foss is in the pits as well. He's got 5% left in the tank. He didn't really have much of a choice in the matter. Lenosis is in on the smell of an oily rag. He's got 1% left. Nif is in the pits. Same. Oh! Tombo's put it into the pit lane low. Oh, no.
Yeah, and he's got damage.
Oh, that's painful. I'm not going to show a replay of that. Nobody needs to see that.
His front left tyre has like a paper-thin slice of white. So he was just, all out of tyre, unfortunately.
So turning right wasn't really an option for him going into the pits, unfortunately. Oh, that's the worst. The worst possible thing to happen.
If Jeeesh tops all the way up, no, he goes to 92 litres. Interesting. I thought he might have topped all the way up and saved that bit of fuel save for the end, but maybe he knows that he's got one more stop.
he did have a slight advantage over the other guys over young Wackie.
Yeah. He had 15 litres, so it'll be interesting to see what Goaty and Wakey come in with.
Just giving a bit of TV time to my boy Ricky Bobby at the moment. He's currently sitting in P3, so just want to give him a little bit of love after his earlier pirouette manoeuvre, unplanned pirouette manoeuvre. So give him a bit of time while he's in the podium position. As MountainGoat pulls into the pits with 1% left in the tank. Young Wakey coming through NGK now. He's also into the pits. How much fuel is he going to have? Or not have, I guess, is the question. He's got none. Absolutely nothing left in the tank.
So Goaty only had 1 litre compared to Jeeesh's 15, but he did do 1 extra lap, so...
I'd say that's like a 10 litre difference or advantage to Jeeesh, which is about a 5 seconds. I was hoping Ricky Bobby would go around another lap again so I could give him some TV time with him being in the number 1 position, but not to be, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what the fuel usage was per lap if you were on it.
Without any fuel saving, I think I was about 5.2, 5.3 litres a lap.
Okay, I thought it was more around 7, but I could be wrong.
If you're absolutely wringing the neck of it, I think it was around 7. But me driving like a softie, yeah, it was probably around the 5.5.
Yeah. But in saying that, even if there was a 10 litre difference, it's 2 litres a second. You know, you're looking at a 5-second difference. So that 3, where's he come out?
So Jeeesh he's out in front. He's taken the lead. He's got 4.8 seconds back to Morgan Davies in P2, who is 4.7 seconds up on Goaty.
Yeah, see, Goaty's dropped back 9 seconds behind Jeeesh, so there was a 3-second difference before. But Goaty has taken a full tank of fuel, whereas Jeeesh took 92 litres, so Goaty won't have to take as much, but obviously Jeeesh has made quite a big jump. And his car theoretically would be a little bit quicker as well because he's got less fuel from the get-go.
I'm not going to try and do some Lenosis on the fly fuel maths. I am absolutely terrible at that. I'm not even going to try.
My maths is atrocious. Doesn't look like Goaty's hanging around either. He's got that pedal down. Boss came out and he's 0.8 behind. Oh, but he didn't go a full tank of fuel.
Boss is short fuel, has he?
He has, yeah.
Interesting. Like how short fuel are we talking?
He's got over 3/4 of a tank, but I'd say he's got about 80%.
Interesting. So he's short fueled a lot, and he's gained himself track position over young Wackie as Dale Teeks is in the pit with a completely empty tank.
Yeah, I was just about to say Dale, and he's also running mediums.
Interesting stint from Dale on that one.
And so is Niff, and Evil Evo, and Dadson, and John. So there's a few. At one stage there was only like one car that was on the mediums, but now there seems to be a few. Maybe they're going to try and run a bit leaner and try and bring it home. Not from here, obviously, but they're going to try and get a bit of a longer stint.
46 minutes Oh, that'd be
Yeah. No, I don't mean from there, but they might try and run it a bit longer so that they can, you know, do that. Maybe do a little bit of a shorter stint on softs at the end.
Tombo's managed to get the jump on Nif in that last round of pit stops, and Nif now has Ricky Bobby right on the back of him, company P9. So it's not going to be completely boring for these guys a little further down the field.
Sometimes I go to say when there's someone behind them, it's like, I feel like saying, oh, it's not the sort of person you want behind you either, but sort of looking down this field, I'm not sure I want any of these guys behind me.
I think looking at this field, I'd say if any of these guys were behind me, I would be rather proud of myself.
Yeah, well, either that or I know I'm being lapped again for the second time.
If I have any of these drivers behind me and I don't have a blue flag out, I consider that an absolute monstrous achievement on my own behalf.
Yeah. No, I was just more meaning that, you know, all these guys are just phenomenally quick.
So just out of curiosity, what tyres are Evo, John and Dadson on? Oh, and Dale Teagues as well.
Yeah, Evo, John, Dadson are on mediums. Dale is on softs. He was on mediums though, he just pitted.
Okay. So they're doing a medium stint. I'm guessing setting themselves up for a final stint on the softs to bring it home strong.
Yeah. Morgan Davies sitting in second place. What a job.
That is an absolutely sensational effort.
He is quite down on fuel compared to the guys around him and tyres, but yeah, he's placed himself well.
Do you think he could do another 14 minutes on what he's got?
He's got probably close to, he's probably got a 55% tyre, and he's got a bit over half a tank of fuel.
Okay,
and so looking at his tyre wear, it's very even. Like he's not, like the fronts are obviously worn a little bit more than the backs, but the left to right is extremely even compared to, I know when I was on here, it was always the front left that seemed to wear like crazy.
So he could make it to the 90-minute mark.
I think he could. Because it's only, what 7 laps? And he pitted on lap 20, either 28. Yeah, I reckon he could. He's halfway through his fuel, and you can definitely get 14 laps. Like I could get 14 laps, I think it was, out of a set of softs with just a little bit of fuel saved.
He's got a very, very hard charging MountainGoat, less than a second behind him now. As Jeeesh has taken the fastest lap off Morgan Davies, a lap and a bit ago. There we go, he's dropped a 2:02.985 race lap. A 2:02 race lap. There you are, ladies and gentlemen. The man has not come to play.
I sort of wish a little bit of his speed had rubbed off on me, considering he's one of my teammates, but it doesn't seem to work that way, unfortunately.
I wish I could say I'm sorry to hear that, but considering I have to race against you, I'm okay with it.
Hey, look, you got a couple of guys running in this as well, so I mean, you know, you got the Gnosis that's up there. That's sort of, he's looking pretty good at the moment. He's 6th place. He's sort of got no one to fight with. He's 11 seconds behind Wackie. He's got 10 over Tomo, but he's looking pretty good on his tyres and fuel at the moment.
Speaking of fighting, it's about to kick off with MountainGoat and Morgan. They are nose to tail coming into Coca-Cola.
Niff and Ricky Bobby are also, or Ricky Bobby's going up the inside. Oh, bit of a switchback from Niff.
MountainGoat's in the slipstream down the main straight here. Will he send it under brakes into turn 1? No, backs out of it. Decides not to do it there.
Morgan Davies is in the 204, 205s. Goaty has been in the 203s because he's got a pretty good set of tyres. Yeah, Morgan's tyres.
Goaty's not going to want to sit behind Morgan for too long here because that's going to hurt him later in the race.
Morgan's tyres have seen their best, whereas Goaty's still got a lot of life, but he needs to get past so he can use those first 5 or 6 laps or more. 10 laps maybe of really good tyres.
He wants to send it down there at Dunlop. Morgan goes defensive, little bit of a tap. Little bit of loving going on there. No harm done, play on.
Yeah, this is costing him time because Jeeesh is just eking out that little bit more each of these laps now. See, Jeeesh is still running mid 203s. Like I was saying before, there's like, you know, there's a 2-second difference between their lap times, or 1.5, 2-second difference between those lap times. Yet Goaty's struggling to get past.
Morgan's looking very defensive here.
Yeah.
But Goaty's got a great run there coming out of Coca-Cola on the main straight. Morgan's right against the pit wall.
Wow. You couldn't fit a credit card between those bumpers, I don't think.
Oh, Goat.
Oh.
Gets a switch back, gets side by side. Oh, nearly a touch there coming through Mercedes.
How's this 80 minutes into a race? This is crazy. Oh.
Just casual 80 minutes in, just going hammer and tong. It's fine.
Yep.
Oh, that was a bit of a touch there. Goaty backs out of it.
I think Goaty's got him this time.
He's definitely got
if
the tyre advantage, and he wants to make...
Yeah. Oh. Oh, Goaty gets it sideways.
This is getting very, very feisty.
Oh, Goaty's back behind.
Yeah, I think Morgan managed to get the better exit out of Dunlop there.
Morgan's probably down to like a quarter of his tyre. Oh, there he goes. Oh, and back again.
This is just...
What?
This is nuts.
The tyre difference too is just... Morgan is doing an unbelievable job.
I think the frustration for MountainGoat is starting to show here.
Yeah.
He knows he needs to get past. He needs to make it happen.
Oh, this is a bad... No, he's done it now. That's it.
How much time has that cost him? The gap up to Jeeesh is now 12.7 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Nearly 3 seconds.
And Morgan Davies.
Just erupts.
There would be some swearing coming from the BSR helmet, I would imagine, right now.
Yeah, let's just rub a little bit of salt into the wound and pit after that.
Yeah, all that fighting and you're in the pits. Oh, there'll be some swearing going on there, but
yeah,
that's fine.
I tell you what though, that brought Foss back up because I think Foss was a good 6 seconds behind Goaty. It's now down to 4.8. And young Wackie's only 2 seconds behind. But Jeeesh at the moment, wow, he's got a massive lead. He has got less fuel and 1 lap less on the tyres, but yeah, I don't think there's a 13-second difference in fuel.
How's young Wackie looking for tyres?
He's pretty much the same as Goaty.
And how does that compare to Foss in front of him? Because the gap there's only 2 seconds.
Wackie and Foss are near. There's not much between tyres and fuel for the both of those.
Right, so basically a mirror image.
Yeah, but Goaty would have a good. He's got maybe, I don't know, 8 litres or so, maybe better fuel
than either Foss or Wackie.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's probably got 10 litres or more maybe on Jeeesh as well.
Paul Lenosis is, well, he's not poor, he's doing quite well in P5, but I say Paul Lenosis because he's well and truly in no man's land. He's got 13.2 seconds to Wackie and 13.5 seconds back to Tombo.
Yeah, at least he's consistent.
Yeah, I mean, he's got another 34 minutes of just doing laps, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess on the upside, I know he'll be in the team comms with Ricky Bobby. So he'll at least have some company, someone to talk to. He's actually not doing too bad. He's managed to claw himself back to P7. Although he does have, what I just saw there was going into T1, he does have Nif for company. So he might be a little bit too preoccupied to talk to Lenosis a whole lot at the moment, because Nif definitely wants that spot.
He's got better tyres than Nif and a little bit better fuel, but Nif is actually on a medium. And Ricky's on a soft.
Okay. Well, Nif definitely wants that position.
I know from experience with I was following Big J at the start of the race, and he was on mediums and on softs, and I was sort of just happy to sit behind him. But after about probably 8 to 10 laps, he just, like, my softs were going off and his mediums come on song. So I think you'll probably find that there's probably going to be a little bit of that as well. So
If just got it done there at Dunlop, easy as you like, down the inside. Morgan Davey is actually 16.3 seconds behind these guys. So he's down in P9 at the moment.
But he's got the best fuel out of everyone. Everyone that's in front of him has got way less fuel.
Morgan just pit not that long ago, though.
No, that's right. So while he dropped... because he was running second. He's purple.
First flyer since he's outlap. I think he's going to have to make another pit stop before the end of the race. I don't see him doing.
No, he won't. He won't have to get a lot of fuel either.
But he's still going to have to cop that transit time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
At 2 seconds a litre, with the amount of fuel that he's got compared to everyone else, he's going to pick up a lot of time. He was purple. Did he get it? No. 2:03.4 he goes.
I'm going to have to come back to that one. Morgan P9 asterisk at this point. I'm going to have to come back to this one.
Honestly, he has got a good a half a tank or more over most of the fuel. The only one that he probably hasn't. Oh, he probably has half. He's probably got half a tank over Goaty, and Goaty would be the best of the guys probably in front of him.
Bit of a no man's land further down the field as well. John, 13 seconds behind Evil Evo, 13 seconds up on Dale Teeks, who has dropped down the order a fair bit over the course of this race. He was doing really well early on. I think he might be a wet weather fan who's a little disappointed, but he does have Dadson for company. Now,
Dadson's all over him, and Dadson is on mediums as well.
Speaking of wet weather, do some of those clouds in the background there look a bit dark to you, Robert?
I don't know what I want to say because I sort of set the room up and
I don't know. Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Something is not quite right here. I'm just witnessing every single car go off track. I kind of have the feeling that we have had a... Yes, we have. We have had a catastrophic failure. So, if you would all bear with me, just going to go to a short intermission while we get this sorted out. And looking at the timer that was on the race, we had about 30 minutes to go. So I'm going to see what we can do and get ourselves up and running for the last 30 minutes of this race. So please bear with us, everybody. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my sincere apologies for that extended break after well, what can only be described as a catastrophic failure of epic proportions. Unfortunately, well, you all saw it. Our server crashed, and there has been some consultation over the regulations and some deliberation amongst admin, and the decision has been made to call the race over as it is, because 75% of the race distance had been completed, only just, but there was still 75%. Therefore, the race shall be called and positions will be awarded to the drivers as they were at the, well, I guess the point of failure. We don't have any fancy graphics or anything like that, but what I can do for you is I can just read off the positions as they were at that 75% mark. Those positions are... So first place for Ironheart Simsports will be Jeeesh. Second place will be MountainGoat for BSR. Third place, Foss, BSR. Fourth place, Young Wackie for Craicn Esports. P5, Lenosis for APR. P6, Tombo for Blacklight Motorsport. P7, Ricky Bobby for APR. P8, Nif. P9, Morgan. P10, Evil Evo. P11, John. P12, Dale Teeks. P13, Dadson. And unfortunately, DNF due to mechanical failure is a GTR. Now, I've got to say, that's not exactly how I wanted to round out the stream tonight. I've had all kinds of mechanical and electronic and other difficulties in my time doing race directing and streaming, and having a lobby fail at the 75% mark is something very, very new to me. So I'm not quite sure exactly how to react to this. Grovel, any thoughts?
Yeah, look, everything, the lobby was looking perfect up until that moment. No one had any trouble getting in. I know there's been some trouble recently with people getting into lobbies and, and then some of the cars not behaving 100% right. And as far as I could see tonight, everything was looking perfect up to that point. And then you sort of called that they went off. And I didn't see it for probably about another 10 seconds or so, and then all of a sudden I started seeing it as well. So that's a first for me as well. I've never had that happen. So yeah, very strange, unfortunate. GT7 doing GT7 things. But yeah, 75% of the race is done. And so apparently, according to the rules, 75%, and it was just on 75%, the race is called.
Yes, that it is. So I actually do have a fancy graphic here for everyone tonight, so we can at least make something look pretty. There we go. So the category 1A results. Jeeesh, P1. He also picked up the fastest lap by the looks of it. He did drop that 2:02.9, so I'm not entirely surprised. So MountainGoat for Brock BSR, P2, Foss for BSR, P3, Wackie for Craicn, P4, Lenosis for APR, P5, Tombo for Blacklight, P6, Ricky Bobby for APR, P7, Nif for CP, P8, Morgan Davies for Switchblade, P9. He might be pretty disappointed because he was setting himself up for that last 30 minutes, I'd say, but unfortunately there's not a lot we can do about this. P10, Evil Evo for Doghouse Motorsport. P11 is John for Lightning Motorsport. P12, Dale Teeks for Craicn. P13, Dadson for Dadson, interestingly enough. And the DNF, unfortunately for mechanical dramas, is GPR for Blacklight Motorsport.
I have noticed someone has put up in the YouTube chat that, and someone's already posted up that they're going to fix it anyway. I think there might be a placement out of place there for one of the drivers, but that'll obviously be triple checked before any points are allocated officially. But
yes.
yeah, like
yes,
my apologies there.
I was just working with the graphics I've been given. We will triple check that before the points are officially awarded. So thank you for picking that up and bringing that to our attention. Well, that's certainly made things interesting. Not the interesting that we wanted, but nevertheless, we're just going to have to take every challenge as it comes and deal with whatever is thrown at us. So I hope that none of this happens next week. We are back racing again full time next week. We have the Category 2 sprint race at Sardinia, and from memory, it'll be in a somewhat normal sprint race format, but then it'll be a reverse track arrangement, which should be particularly interesting because I have yet to do a lap in either layout. How's your practice going, Grovel?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's only a short track and there's not a lot of corners, to be honest, but it does keep you busy for that 20 minutes, that's for sure.
Excellent. But despite my lack of practice, I am looking forward to it. And thank you to everyone who came along tonight, joined us on the YouTube stream, and stuck with us through the difficulties. Very much appreciated. If you could also smack the like button, do the subscribe thing, you know the drill. Every little bit helps. And I'd also like to say thank you very much, Grovel, for being our race director tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun, to be honest. It's just a shame that I didn't go the full distance. It really was.
Not a lot we can do. There is always things outside of our control.
No, I still had internet connection and everything. Everything was fine, but it just seemed that GT7 wanted to throw a bit of a spanner in the works.
GT7 says, "You shall not race." Rather ironic for a racing game, but anyway,
yeah,
I haven't got much more to say. I'm a little bit flat after that, to be perfectly honest, so I might go raid the Sector 1 comms box liquor cabinet and get myself a nice stiff drink and try and get over this. But I look forward to next week's race, and hopefully we can bring you some very entertaining action live here on YouTube. Anything you'd like to say before we check out of the comms box?
No, not really. Probably other than sorry guys with everything that happened, but yeah, good job, Jeeesh, my teammate.
Hashtag no bias.
No bias.
Alright, that's all from us here at Sector 1. Good night, everybody, and we will see you again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.